Hello guys. So yeah, I will be posting this one more two-player game from the worlds, and then I'll just call it a day. Uh, I might have I would have liked to show all games from this stage, but yeah, it seems I can't find the time to do that. So well, the result here was posting one game from each play count, which is still okay. And this two-player game was against totsilence, and it was by far well the one that had the most twists and turns. As it's always with totsilence, it's a very strong two-player in two-player games. Well, he's strong in every count, but it seems the dynamic between us in two players is that he has the upper hand most times, and I just try to keep up. And even if games look very great, he can turn things around quite quickly. So I expect a sort of a tight game that could go either way. So let's see about the leaders and wonders. There's Hammurabi from H8 and Caesar, which I end up picking here, but no Suez, but still some colony synergy. There's Columbus, obviously Ziska always strong. Then from H2 there's Bach and Darwin and Gaudi also for culture, and Napoleon for counterplays. And then H3 Gandhi, Gates, and then yeah, Hollywood with Chaplin maybe, but no fast food at least. No Red Cross. No Red Cross. That's always the swingiest wonder in two-player. So for me, there was a couple ways maybe to go forward, but yeah, I just wanted to take a leader in this case. There's obviously library is strong, but then again, if I take library, then Sun Tzu will be either taken or it will not be available for me. I mean, I just wanted to have a leader for sure, rather than the library, since there's I'm guaranteed either library or Stonehenge. So the tiles goes for Alex plus library, just as expected. Yeah, my first turn is quite the standard one. Just elect, take a wonder, and do the normal stuff. And yeah, there's no sort of competition between Hanging Gardens or Stonehenge, so no need to discuss anything. Actually, draw two events already that are nice with Caesar and me going for the Stonehenge, and I should be able to keep up with immigration, and raiders also would be nice if they just come out quick, and I can still have Caesar. But silence, Alex, normal stuff, and God, very standard. I wouldn't start off by seeding. I just like to have the immigration. It's always a bit of an slight. It isn't the same if, in all cases if there's development of politics revealed, which I see it first. So I just wanted to have the immigration at least. And yeah, there's on the second seat there's the politics. And now I already end up having 3 defense cards, so maybe if I could draw a colony, that could be a nice start. And at least the Dark Ages is quite nice to know that it won't be in there. So let's see, that was the planning. There's agriculture, religion, or crafts, and I think it's quite clear. Having seeded the immigration, I have to put that worker into religion, and then after that, I don't have a free population. Since I put it in religion, I necessarily don't want to go into consumption yet. So that's why I chose to just start building on the wonder rather than popping and building a lab. So just do stages of the wonder and then taking knights. I don't like any of those cards in a civil 1CA range. I don't like them. Early copy of knights should help if I have seeded raiders already, so just keep up with the strength. I draw colony, which was nice, and then call to arms, which I probably can seed also. Alex gets sent away. He goes for the lab, EG, which is nice with library. I can finish next turn. Yeah, I don't think there's anything that he's really missing out on, and at least he leaves iron on 2. So I start off by seeing the colony. I at least want that in, and also call to arms. I'm strongest, and I can maybe draw something else to see it and push the deck. Some more resources. Yeah, I wanted to get a bit stronger in case totsilence builds up some strength. So knights popping and going for 1 unit. As you can see, it probably can't cough up that much strength, but if he maybe had fighting band and then decided to go for one of those, he could be on 3 and maybe, yeah, but I felt 4 strength is well enough. Yeah. Even show a tactic to keep all those defense cards, since I seeded the developer 1. And just elected to take those cards. I mean, I still haven't built my lab. There's iron, but there's obviously 2 copies. And I didn't want to go for the iron, missing out on the rich land. Even another colony should be nice. So totsilence just finishes, grabs the iron. Yeah, he has to take the iron. Second one is coming down, and it's always a possibility that it gets taken by me. It's quite likely that I take it. He goes for the warrior, but doesn't have a tactic. Well, yeah, he was not completely safe. He probably had to build it to not get double addressed. I see the wealthy colony, and I show call to arms. I build the lab and can finish the wonder. And luckily the iron is further up the row, so I don't have to take it for 2. Instead I take drama. With buck in play, it's always a nice option to go for drama. There's maybe not swordsman could be taken, but I already have knights, and as said, I can take anything from. I can take irrigation otherwise iron is gone. So drama it is. Draw 2 aggressions. So that might be something to work with, but then again, depending on when the colony gets revealed, I might like to keep those defense cards rather. So totsilence can start going for economy. Just went, yeah, he had only 2 selections after the coat of arms, so just went for the iron 1 upgrade. I see it could harvest, it's the only thing I have to see it. And then I just go for an aggression. So let's see what's happened here. Yeah, while I could have maybe just went for the double aggression, it's possible that it could go through. I have seen those 3 defense cards. But I still felt, yeah, maybe I actually should have tried the double aggression. In hindsight, it could have been quite strong. But instead, I went for a bit of a hybrid play of that. I just seeded first, and then went for the aggression just to remove some cards. No, he actually, he was sure to defend, yeah. He had 5 cards to stop it, yeah. With the library, yeah. So just, he had, for sure, enough cards to defend. So I went for the seed first, and then I went for the aggression. And since I will be hiking my strength this turn, I thought it's possible that he sort of overcommits to defending and maybe neglects his economy a bit, since I won't be keeping the aggression. So yeah, the seed first was to see if the colony comes out, then I could maybe not go for the aggression this turn, just to keep the two defense cards and go for the bigger double aggression next turn. So yeah, I seeded. I got the immigration, which was quite nice, but maybe the best outcome for me for seeding would be to reveal the colony and then open up some hand space to keep both those aggressions. But since it didn't come out, I just want to go for one aggression, maybe force him to react, and then yeah, bit of a bluff there. So code, I want to take code. I have some spare science. Code is key tech in 2 players. Just go for the code. Go for the full army. Culture, heritage, and iron. So it would be quite the non-ideal spot for totsilence if I had 2 aggressions in hand and go up to this much strength. But as it happened, the colony didn't come out. I didn't want to risk losing the colony anyway, so just discarded the aggression. But let's see if he reacts. Can go for Barbarossa. Well, at least, yeah, like this, he went for Barbarossa. Can't copy the tactic, but can just go for two units. And this is not a sure defense, but maybe he has a defense card. But maybe if I hadn't done this, he could have gone for Ziska. But with Ziska, he couldn't have built those units so easily, so that's a cost already. That he can't go for Ziska since there's a phalanx tactic available for sure for this guy. So at least that was a result of this bit of a strength push. So yeah, while it's not that likely that at the time I was going for the aggression that I had 2 more aggressions to go for next turn, but at least it was possible that I could have drawn some more aggressions. So yeah, he reacted like this, and I will get this guy even for cheap. Yeah, I just have nothing to see. Just go for this guy before age ends. Population, go for two of those phalanx tactics. And go for Silk Road and take breakthrough as well. So I was a bit tight on my CAs to start going for the iron. So I just wanted to get Silk Road and some extra value for my yellow cards. And also keeping the pressure on. And yeah, totsilence probably has to play or copy a tactic in H2, so it's not too great for him either. So that's the seed, and the colony is finally out. Has a imminent happiness issue, but he can fix it with theology. And he has a tactic of his own, plus takes swordsman. Maybe warfare can't really afford it that great. Swordsman could be nice for some H2 tactics. Since yeah, the H just flipped, I'm starting to gain a bit of a culture edge. Doesn't produce that much, so maybe sort of a military is something is needed for him. So I'm weakest. I don't have the knowledge what this is, or do I actually have? I may have seeded all. Yeah, I have seeded all of those. So there's raiders that's not come out yet, and getting hit by raiders while on just 4 rocks doesn't feel too great, and I can fix that. So yeah, raiders on top, and I just can't seed into that. But thanks for getting the Silk Road. I knew last turn that I'll have 2 rocks to rebuild my army, 2 rocks to start going for the Silk Road, and now with the bonus I can go for 1 iron, which is quite strong in this. I still wanna maybe, yeah, there's the wealthy territory at least coming down or out. At some point I want to have to Cardo, and that's a nice cheap deck for my breakthrough. I might not wish to commit to a drama yet, and if I can get Bach, it's even cheaper to develop, so I wanted to have a cheap deck to activate the breakthrough. And I end up drawing a nice tactic and a nice defense card. Totsilence sees a conman. There's also monarchy, but obviously conman. Quite nice, maybe even can set up a revolution. Goes for economy. And yeah, he's not in corruption range, so maybe, yeah, he's definitely eyeing a revolution. I see it until the borders. It's quite likely that I can keep my strength edge, and yeah, if he's going for revolution and he doesn't have the food to go for any Barbaros activation, and the raiders will be quite nice. go for the cargo. Another upgrade. Just a stage to be efficient. And then it's about taking some cards. I'm not seeing the Republic yet. Yeah, if there's high chance totsilence goes for the revolution, then if the Republic came out, I could just take it. But I just felt like I wanna have a government for sure. So just took the monarchy. Also education. I still have no copy of any food tech, and actually totsilence does not have either. So maybe if the selective comes out at the right time, I could maybe take it away. So I'm not taking Rev Idea, not taking Canon, not taking EG, but at least the EG will stay on 2. So yeah, the Rev Idea could have been very nice. Just unset the borders. Totsilence, yeah, could have still revolted, but saw a nice scientific method. And could go for 1 upgrade while taking Rev Idea, so that was stronger than just doing the revolution, I think. And there's also Robespierre, he's leaving him on the row, so that could be an idea. I see the freedom of movement. Just, yeah, well, it was the only thing I could see. It's nice to know that's gonna be in there. Could be a big swing, maybe in wartime or some nice time for it to come out. I played Culture Heritage for 3 science and 3 culture. Go for the monarchy, still no Republic showing. I don't want to risk or wait any longer. Now I have my full iron. I want to build the stages while also taking the EG2. So I'm not taking cannon, but then again I have no cannon tactic. I just need the rifles. And yeah, well, while Robespierre will be quite nice for the silence if he chooses to go for him, then again he then has a leader already and can't go for Bach. But yeah, in itself it's quite strong to get the government going, but cheaply. Seats, and there's new deposits, which I had not seeded. Upgrades the lab, and just goes for the revolution with Robespierre. Also taking a nice wonder. So yeah, while he will be playing on Robespierre, but it is just a big boost. Also the wave. I see the inhabited territory too. I still have the colonization bonus. There's navigation coming down, so maybe totsilence will have the bonus of himself also available. But then again, he just went for the Robespierre revolution, hasn't drawn as many cards that I have, so, and I still have 3 cards in hand, so I felt quite okay to see the inhabited too. Other option being the wealthy, but maybe inhabited could be quite a bit nicer, and I already know about this other wealthy colony. So get it for 1 card and 1 unit. Can finish the circle. Go for irrigation. I decided to just pop and build 1 straight up, which is maybe a bit stronger. I will have a I can pop. It's for the long term is probably better to have the three people in farms, and like this I can just pop and build one, and then be able to pop next turn. And sadly I don't have the most civil actions. There's a lot of yellow cards that could be nice, but the science is the worst for me, so just have to pay extra for the breakthrough, but could be still the best one. Show some other stuff. I could maybe see it. Then again, if I go for the Bach play, might not be that great to see the Ico, but maybe the international negotiations could be played if I can find rifles. Goes for the justice system, finishing the wonder. And yeah, maybe, yeah, he just takes the self breeding, which I think is correct. He has a lot of CAs. And my reputation is maybe a bit, I like to deny stuff. If it's feasible, I like to deny stuff. And like this, he already goes for the justice system, and it makes the selective breeding to drop down to 2, so for 2 it's just a no-brainer hate pick, I think. So he does quite well to just take it here. So yeah, about the reputation thing, I think it's quite nice to have a sort of a reputation of hate drafting different stuff, even from way up the row, since it makes the opponent a bit more careful and has to maybe over commit to some card in fear of hate picking. So at least having some hate picks in your sort of play style is quite nice. If you never hate pick, you probably just you're doing something wrong, and then again you can't overdo it profitably, at least. So it's a fine line. But I think here is just while it's going to drop to 2, so you just have to take it. So I actually end up seeding the international negotiations. I don't want to see the Arco since I will be going for Bach. And revealing the colony on my own turn is nicer. And there's actually another yellow cube colony seeded by totsilence, and he ended up having a lot of cards. So that's maybe a bit lucky since he missed one draw entirely with the revolution, but he's found a nice amount of those defense cards. But I was still happy since he had to now discard them. I know about the inhabited too, so maybe that's easier to win now. So about this turn, yeah, go for drama without going for Bach, which is obviously a science cost. So let's see what I end up doing. I end up popping and putting one theater up already. Yeah, there's rifles I need. And then I take reserve. So I feel, yeah, this guy's still giving me a lot of culture. So culture-wise, getting Bach now doesn't make that much sense. But if I could go for him right away, I could get the very, very cheap drama out. But yeah, since there was rifles I needed to take, I just didn't or couldn't fit Bach in this turn. And the reserves is very valuable for me. I don't have the most pop, and that's just worth 4 food. I draw even another colony, and I draw a nice, in general, a very nice tactic, but I don't have the cannons. The first copy, at least, is gone already. The second one might be quite contested. Totsilence takes strategy from way up the row. For wave, just rebuilds a lot of units. As conquistadors, you can become even strongest. So yeah, he spends most of the turn just taking strategy and then popping and playing wave and just rebuilding strength. Yeah, he doesn't take anything from the row down there, so just Bach for 2. So yeah, there's the inhabited. I seed it and I still lose it, so that's quite annoying. But yeah, he just elects to send a whole army for that, which I think is correct. But still, yeah, it didn't go down the way I would have liked it with those colonies. But that's just how it goes. I think I was all in, but I couldn't get a tactics bonus for that colonization, so just ended up losing. Yeah, I don't think I was actually all in on that. I bet 9, so means, yeah, I think it was a knight and a swordsman, knight and a warrior, and those cards. So I didn't feel. Yeah, I could have maybe just gone all in also, but yeah, I don't remember the exact reasoning why. I just felt that it should be possible for me to take it like that, and for Totsilence to win my bid, probably would need to send the whole army. So yeah, it's close. I used the Ziska military action, upgrading 1 unit. Go for Bach, play the reserves for food, pop, build 1 more drama, and that's the turn. H ends. Yeah, let's take a look at the scores. I'm having quite the lead with culture, and Totsilence has more science. And yeah, the rocks are still in my favor. I can keep a lot of rocks with those colonies that I have. So let's see. Goes for strategy, takes the cannon, maybe has a tactic with that, but it doesn't. Yeah, it would have to be the Napoleonic one, since it still just rebuilds those units and doesn't go for cannons, so probably doesn't have anything like fortifications. Now I have the mobile in hand. Just takes a lot of nice cards. Put some pressure on me. So for me, that's the first Air Force came down. Yeah, that chance was gearing up for something, but for him to have drawn a war even from H2 is not the most likely thing to have happened, and yeah, just getting a culture war in one draw, not that likely either. Yeah, the science is still quite bad for me, and I have a lot of rocks. So, and with the EG in hand, I think it's quite a strong turn to take Harvard and finish it. And that's what I end up doing. And at least fundamentalism is left on 3. I copy the tactic for now. Yeah, just to be able to defend a bit better. Yeah, I didn't have the civil action to go for a classic army yet. And it could be a nice thing to still keep hidden for this. But that's actually a very early war. It just drew 3 and then just drew a war. Can even go for one of those air forces. Taking endowment as well. So for me, I have nothing to see it anyway. Even if I wanted to, there's still the freedom of movement in the deck could help. But yeah, I can't do that much for this war. Yeah, still pop and go for the extra rifle and then show a tactic. Like this, I somewhat defend, and I can still defend an aggression next turn. I want to take Funda. I can go for it next turn to be a bit more safe. Like this, I'm not taking Hollywood, but then again, it starts to look like a sort of military push game, so Hollywood may not be that great. And then I upgrade 1 temple into theater. And for the last 3 civil actions, I just deny Gates. I mean, he would be insanely strong for the challenge for his wars and for everything else also. And while we look at the other leaders, obviously I have a bit of culture lead still, but Gandhi wouldn't do too much. He has 7 military actions, and even if he loses Robespierre, he can still war me. And Gates would be quite great for him, even just getting him online now. So I felt, while I may not be going for Gates just now, but it's still an option. There's still 2 computers to come down. I have some rocks, so maybe if the military pressure gets lifted a bit, I could squeeze in a bit of a computer play. But for the most part, it was just I felt too strong for totsilence, and Robespierre is not doing that much. Draw war, but that may be a bit useless. Just war, and he tries to raid my buildings, but I can defend. Goes for patriotism, just to have the rocks away from me at least, and also for himself. And yeah, just keeps up the pressure. Sneaks in a food upgrade. So I still have to react to that strength push. Yeah, it's obviously I'm guaranteed the other copy of Air Force, but I still wanted to go for it even now. I'm a bit or very vulnerable to aggression. So I want to get the Air Force out. Yeah, I can't pop, so I have to wreck something to build one Air Force. I was trying to decide between a farm or a lab. But yeah, still, I will be taking computers here, so I just felt it's a bit better to have the lab for maybe upgrading those. I can still, yeah, depending on which direction the game goes, they still have Harvard College with Silk Road even, so just take the computer, there's both efficient upgrades and urban growth coming down. So it could be a way to sneak in a lab upgrade. So just start to destroy the farm, but it's not entirely great either. I go to 0 production, so in 2 turns I could have produced 1 more population. And yeah, just go for the one Air Force can defend again, just taking computers for later. Yeah, that's also if I didn't go for the Air Force, but I just wanted to be able to defend this Manhattan project, but I couldn't finish it since I have no masonry or architecture. And Corporate Funda doesn't increase my civil actions right away. There's totsilence seats, and then there's economic progress, and I feel even better denying the gates, since yeah, he was definitely eyeing gates with his seat. Can copy my tactic, and yeah, he can easily fill up two armies with Air Force by the end, so I have to respond. Yeah, it just goes for the 2 armies already. Sports also an urban growth. At least leaves me those efficient upgrades. And yeah, well, he's taking a lot of cards from the row. There's 11 cards left, so it might be the last turn to go for a war. So yeah, I just like to have the Funda going, so I just take the row idea, play it, go for it. And yeah, for me, I still have the knowledge about the freedom of movement. It is on top. So if totsilence goes for war now, he can't reveal that, and I get the freedom for the war. I mean, obviously he can do something with it also, but he can't go for it during the war. So I definitely didn't want to see it. Anyway, I just had strength to see it, so maybe not the best one. And with the Funda, I can go for even more culture. And I end up destroying the last lab. I still don't wanna. This time I don't wanna destroy my farm. I still have some food stored up, so maybe can fight off famine a bit better if I have more food. Went for 1 Air Force already. It makes it a bit easier next turn to get all those units that I may need in case of war. And it seems war is quite possible. And for the last civil action, yeah, while taking multimedia here, I could make it a bit more awkward for totsilence to be able to take some cards without ending the age if he wishes to prolong the game. But I felt efficient upgrade could still have some uses. If I have to destroy a lot of stuff even next turn, that could help me rebuild something. And even if I took another card, there would still be 6 cards. So totsilence could still take 2 from non-list card. I draw some more events, but no impacts for balance won't be very great, so that won't be seeded. But let's see if I can find those other ones, spots to seed those. So that's the war. That's the hybrid war. Can go for the hybrid war, and with that take Mandela. So that's a nice synergy. And even engineering and get a lot of strength. Even builds. Yeah, he's lacking civil action to build another one. I think, yeah, he wasn't lacking the rocks, but at least he can build even another air force. But yeah, it's still good for him that he does, since there's the freedom of movement. And let's see how much strength I can cover with that. I ended up seeding strength, which is maybe a bit risky. I don't want to seed balance, but maybe population could be seeded. The totsilence has a lot more, so yeah, felt strength. I think he's not expecting it to be in there, since I'm playing first seed. So there might be a way he maybe disbands something later on, or I can just, yeah, it's quite unlikely that the strength will be in, so it's always a bit of a mind bender, that one. But I felt I needed something to score heavily on, since he can go for fast food also. So yeah, let's see how that turns out. Yeah, I can at least put 1 iron into Air Force. That's the only way I can really afford this defense. I have to destroy everything. But with Harvard College, I still can actually take reserves, play it for food. And yeah, the extra food even allows me to not get into famine this turn. So Silk Road and Harvard doing a lot of work. So now just the units. And I will tie totsilence in strength. So had he not built the extra Air Force, yeah, without, but he probably, yeah, he needed it. I still would have been able to reach 69 strength even without the freedom. So he had knowledge about my defense without the freedom. Let's see, there could be another war, and totsilence actually had another war, but he felt it was too costly. He would have had to destroy the farm. I think we discussed after the game. He had the other war, but felt it was too costly. Just takes all those reserves away from me, and for himself also. Just takes the fast food. And urban growth and computers, so sets up for impacts. But yeah, at least he decides to put one Air Force into selective breeding, so that's a pretty clear indication that the impact of agriculture might be in there. But at least it seems that he will be settling for being weaker. So that's a bit of a nice thing for me, having seeded the strength. And then I know it is the autonomous territory. So the event order is not the greatest for me. Totsilence was, we had the same strength. He seeded and revealed international negotiations. Then he put the Air Force into food, and now that he's weakest, there's just the colony. I was able to bid something, or quite a lot, but I seeded population. So any population Totsilence loses here, it will be less points for the fast food chains, and also less points for the population. So yeah, I lost the science to that international negotiation. Well, there was not much. There were no other things to lose. I did not have any food, or just two rocks. So at least that was nice that he couldn't take the rocks. Yeah, he would have definitely taken the rocks if he had the option. So yeah, obviously I had seeded the negotiations, so I knew at that point, while I left myself with 2 rocks, that can't be lost. So a nice bit of a sort of synergy, or preparing for that event. So like this, I couldn't go for meta theory. That could be an option to score a lot more for certain impacts. So let's see what I end up doing. I took the idea, went for computers just to go for a technology, and then I could build one small farm and upgrade and just go into 1 famine, which is obviously worth 8 points. And then I just couldn't do anything else. So for me, the main sort of, what should I do? Yeah, I would have very much liked to go for mechanized agriculture. I was actually short 1 rock. Well, yeah, if I had 1 more rock, I would have lost it to the international negotiations. So yeah, if I had just somehow 1 more rock, I would have gone for the one mechanized agriculture, since I was very sure that the impact of agriculture is in. So maybe there's an argument for just taking the mechanized agriculture and not developing it. So I just went for the Revade. I need the Revade anyway to go for any technology. That's 3 civil actions already. Then I needed to build a farm and upgrade. But yeah, if I just went for the Revade, that's 3. Then take mechanized agriculture, that's 5. Develop it. Yeah, it's about developing 1 more tech, or denying the agriculture. But then I also felt that we can just take the mechanized agriculture and get 2 more upgrades, which will be 4 more points for him. But then again, if he goes for that, then he won't score that much more for the population. So it's a bit of a potatoes. I felt that technology could be in, so I just wanted to get one more tech out and also fix my famine as best I can. But maybe they have sort of a middle ground, just taking the mechanized and going for the turn without developing any tech could work also. So I take the famine, and my civilization looks pretty bad. So it goes for population, goes for the mechanized agriculture, couple upgrades. He can just build so much stuff with his civil actions and with all those cards. And yeah, he can actually. Yeah, that's a good question. He went for he couldn't go for any farm building. We just had the card urban growth. Just could either put it in prof sports or the religion. But obviously he knows about competition or the architecture, so it doesn't make any difference. Just the culture matters. And finishes the wonder. And we'll be heading off to the final scoring. I still have a 6 culture lead. I have some favorable or neutral impacts in, but let's see how it will end. There's industry, that's bad for me. Now it's tied. Strength is good for me. Population, well, totsilence sent a lot of units to the colony. Well, he got culture for just taking the colony, but now he ends up at least losing this impact. And as I suspected, there's the agriculture, and he will be scoring a lot more and tying the game. So yeah, a tied game is actually a very favorable result for me, and we can end this video by checking the final league standings, at least for me. And this tied game was the one that finally sealed the deal, and I was able to be safe from anyone else and just winning the league and continuing in upper groups in the later stages. So it felt like a win after the strength push and all those wars and well, compared to me, a huge economy. So it felt like a win, and it sort of was a win in a way. So I found this game quite an interesting one. Well, it's not very uncommon that the game ends in sort of all in. That one player has Bach and has culture lead, and then just disbands everything to put into units at the end. But with all those events that came out and me ending up in just one famine, the efficient upgrade that I took was quite a crucial one, and it was just a fight up until the end, and I was able to just hold off to this tie. So yeah, the final scores are as follows. Yeah, this standings system does not. It shows for me 3 wins in 2 players, and actually I had this tied heads-up game, and I also had the tied 3-play game, so it shows it as that. So 30 points out of 39, so very strong season for me. It didn't feel too great at all times, but I still feel I played quite well. And yeah, so it's not possible for anyone to catch me now, so I will be having a bit of a time off the worlds for now. I think it's gonna take at least a week or maybe 2 weeks to finish all games from each group. But luckily there's some other stuff as well, intermezzo's on the way. It's quite funny games thus far already. But there's Payada in my group, so it usually means that the games get either very messy or otherwise curious games, and I can say those games have not let me down, at least. So probably gonna get back with those games at some point. But for now, I thank you for watching, and bye bye.